Everybody. Okay, you've got the pairings in front of you. We'll start at the top with Rod Pampling, Daniel Chopra, and One Asia's leading player, Jinho Choi. Followed by the story of Peter Senior, Brett Rumford and Bryson DeChambeau. Now, it's an interesting group. No need to talk much about Peter Senior. We all know what he's done and who he is and what a fantastic competitor he is. Rumford and Bryson DeChambeau both featured prominently last week. DeChambeau, for example, just so you know, won the NCAA and the US Amateur this year and has only been done by 4 other players. Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Ryan Moore and Jack Nicklaus won those 2 championships, amateur championships. Jordan Spieth, Lee Westwood and Jeff Ogilvy. Now, Jordan Spieth, we all know the story with Jordan, world number 1, Masters winner. Lee Westwood, a multiple winner, former world number 1, Australian Open champion. Jeff Ogilvy, US Open champion, multiple winner on the US Tour. Greg Chalmers, Australian Open. Stephen Bowditch, President's Cup this year. Key match when he beat Jimmy Walker on the final day, and he also won the Byron Nelson on the US Tour this year. Strong group. Nick Cullen, up-and-coming young player. Peter Fowler, also a past champion. And Michael Hendry, star from New Zealand. We go to the afternoon pairings. Peter Lonard, obviously he's a 2-time Australian Open champion. Stuart Appleby and Stephen Allen, 3 past champions in the same group. Great group to follow. George McNeil, who featured prominently last week with Nick O'Hearn and Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith might be probably one of the biggest potentials we have on the world stage right now. Amazing story for Cameron Smith. And George McNeil, he was a 2-time winner on the US Tour and was very prominent last week also. Adam Scott, well, Adam Scott is Adam Scott. We're fortunate to have him here play with Johnny Senden and Nicholas Colsaerts. Colsaerts has been the longest driver in Europe over several years. John Senden's also a magic driver of the ball, and Adam Scott, we know, is a very, very good driver of the ball also. So if you're up and about and want to watch some severe driving, you better go and have a look at this group. Robert Allenby, past champion. Mark Leishman. Mark Leishman playoff at St Andrews this year, the Open Championship, President's Cup, and winner on the US Tour. So Mark's had a great year as well. And then Matt Jones also had a great year on the US Tour. Followed by Marcus Fraser, Matthew Goggin, and Australia's leading amateur, Ryan Ruffles. We have 3 of the top 10 amateurs in the world playing this week, so we're very fortunate in that regard also. Just from a weather perspective, we've got some nice winds, around 20 to 30 Ks, maybe just slightly over for Thursday, Friday. Should be a good balance for both morning and afternoon players when they cross, so it should be quite fair. The golf course is outstanding. You can see the specs on the sheet before you. It's amazing. The players are all commenting on it. It should be a great week of golf. Any questions?
Questions from the floor, please. Jim.
Trevor, can I just ask you what improvements around the course have been made since last year to your eye? What's been done that makes the course better to last year?
Well, with the fairways are a lot. Obviously, Jim, it's another year older. The fairways have got a lot tighter. The grass is amazing. They've cored and sanded the fairways 8 weeks ago, which is something, very, very close to the time limit. But if you've walked on them this week, you'll see that it's absolutely superb, which makes them also harder and faster. So, errant shots will keep running. They'll bounce off it more so this year than sort of stopping. So, the height's at 10 mil, which is quite tight. So if the wind and the tight and bouncy fairways, it'll be tough as well. So we've lengthened a couple of holes. The 16th's gone back 30 metres, which will put a bit more teeth into those back 4 holes when you're winning a major championship. So we couldn't use that last year because it wasn't quite ready.
Trev. Last year the course was fantastic. They seem to be ahead of schedule again this year.
Yeah, we had a very good pre-season, if you like, going into dormancy, and we came out of it really well. Our spring wasn't as late this year as what it's been in the past, so we had earlier growth, and therefore that allowed us to do the cutting earlier and get some better definitions and tightening. So it's really helped us.
Have you got a bit of flexibility in the greens again this year, for bad weather, good weather?
Yeah, we have. Late last week, our first forecast was for 45 to 50k winds, which puts a bit of an issue for us. But We've got them at 11 right now. We went back to single cutting this morning, just waiting for this final wind forecast. We can go up or we can go back, and that's a good thing to do. You wouldn't want to bring your greens all the way up and then have to back all the way back and then try and get them back up for the weekend. So we're just gradually moving into it. I think we're in a good space.
Trevor, did anything Jordan do in his last round last year dictate any of the changes to the course or green speeds or what you might do with pins this week?
No, well, last week we set up, that last day, we'll all remember that phenomenal round that he shot in the wind. No, not really. As I say, we put a bit more strength into that back 9 on 16, and when you're coming down the stretch to win a championship like the Australian Open, you need to have some strength, and you stand on 15T, which is a demanding par 3, 16 now, you're going to go in there with 2 clubs longer into the nor'easter. It's going to be quite a test. So, no, we haven't. We did a bit of tweaking with a few fairway lines and everything, but no, not necessarily. One of the that's a common question, Jim, and one thing that we've all got to be mindful of, there's a huge investment in this tournament from sponsors and all sorts of people, TV, etc., governments. You just don't mess with that investment. You want to make sure there's a true test for the players, which there certainly is. The golf course is a strong test. So we're happy with where we're at, and just going by the players' feedback so far in the first 2 days, we're in a good spot.
I might have missed it from what he said. Green speed, you're pretty happy with.
Yeah, we're 11 and a half yesterday. We're probably about the same this morning. And if the wind dives off, we'll probably get them to 12. But as I say, if the wind comes in, we'll back off a bit and get them down.
Just one extension of that, Trevor. The last couple of opens have been pretty low scoring affairs. What sort of winning score would you anticipate?
Well, it's always a question. But look, these major championship courses normally throw up 10 to 12 under, and that's pretty much based on the players. Players just seem to get it done. They putt, and these you have a look at these putting surfaces. They'll hold putts from everywhere this week. I guarantee you that. So, if the weather's calm, they'll get around it. But if that wind kicks in, it'll be a test. You can't get that close to flags. Yeah, that's one of the things with these greens. A great set of greens, but to get it actually close all the time around this golf course is difficult. But you're going to hold some monsters because they're pure. The greens are pure.
Trev, you mentioned the lengthening. The 14's a bit longer as well, is that right?
Yeah, it's 13 metres longer than last year. That's more so just so we can get the players back a little bit further so the spectators can get in near it.
Still be reachable, but...
It is reachable, probably not in the southerly, but they'll get down there. But last year it only played just under par. And for a shortish hole, the thing with that hole is the green's a very small target, and it's sort of almost a saucer shape where it falls off the back. It's hard to stay on. So it played stronger than you'd thought last year. So I see it playing strong again.
And just with the Australian, would it be fair to say it's the toughest championship course in Australia? Is that what it's regarded as, do you think? Or do you regard it as the toughest?
I always said when I first came here a few years ago now that the front 9 was the toughest in Australia. And I certainly think when you stand on 7, 8 and 9, you stand on hole like 1 going back to a par 4 was a tough start. He played well over par last year. 2's tough, and then you go 7, 8, 9. They're demanding golf holes, and I still think that's the case. It's very, very demanding.
Trevor, how are you rating the depth of the field this year? There seems to be a lot of emphasis put on trying to get some of these overseas players. You've got Lee and Darren here this year, and Jim O'Shea as well.
Yeah, we, as I said to a few people already, we've had an enormous inquiry about coming to play this event from internationals. We've had 41 requests this year to come and play. So we've got one Asia involved still, but there's the depth of the field is getting stronger and stronger. We've got a lot of just about all the Australians bar Jason here this week. I see it growing. There's more and more, and when you get that, you get more. The competition gets tougher at come Sunday. It's great to have great competition. So it's all good for the tournament. We see the momentum building. All these players are interested in promoting the Australian Open.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Any more questions? Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah.
What is Speed's promotion of the tournament this year? He's been an exemplary champion, hasn't he? He's sent stuff around the world. Money can't buy that in terms of promotion.
No, he's. I think he's a bit special, and I've said this before. Every now and then a special person comes along, and I think Jordan's a very special person. He's done an amazing job at promoting the Australian Open. He's promoted Sydney. He's done everything. So, you know, it's not the other players don't do that. It's just Jordan's been in a position, being world number one and who he is, to be in positions to be able to promote that around the world in many places.